Hello friends, welcome to my channel Rairori World. So in this part of immunity, we will discuss about the next type which is the acquired immunity. So in the previous part, we have discussed about immunity, its types, and also in detail we have discussed about innate immunity, its factors and mechanisms. So now coming to the topic which is the acquired immunity. So it is an immunity which an individual acquires during his lifetime. So, acquired immunity is different from that of innate immunity. So, it is achieved from a vaccine or exposed to an infection or a disease or also from another person's antibodies. So, this type of immunity is further divided into two types, which is active immunity and passive immunity. So, now we will discuss in detail about these two types of immunity. So now coming to the active immunity. So this is the resistance which is induced in an individual after effective contact. It follows either after natural infection or vaccination. So it involves the active functioning of the host immune system leading to the synthesis of antibodies and the production of immunologically active cells. So, active immunity usually develops very slowly over a period of days, but it can last for years. So, active immunity is usually very effective as it can last for many years. So, during the development of active immunity, there is often a negative phase. So, active immunity is usually associated with immunological memory. So, active immunity usually takes two forms of mechanisms. So, that can be the humoral immune response and the cell mediated immunity. So, coming to the humoral immune response, it is a protection against extracellular pathogens and also from their toxins. Whereas the cell mediated immunity is a protection against intracellular pathogens. So, the immunity which we develop after being exposed to an infection or from a vaccine is known as active immunity. Now, coming to the ways in which active immunity is obtained. So, active immunity can be obtained either naturally and artificially. So, the naturally is by developing antibodies in response to an infection, whereas artificially the antibodies develops in response to a vaccination. So, these are the two ways in which active immunity is obtained. So toxoids. So these are the preparation of bacterial exotoxins which are being inactivated by formalin. So they can retain the immunogenicity but not the toxigenicity. So these are the two ways in which active immunity is obtained. So now we will see few examples of active immunity. So there are few examples, that is bacterial vaccines and viral vaccines are being prepared in active immunity. So some of the bacterial vaccines can be the live BCG vaccine for tuberculosis, the killed cholera vaccine, the subunit typhoid antigen, the bacterial products that can be the tetanus toxoid. Then coming to the viral vaccines, it can be the live oral polio vaccine, the killed injectable polio vaccine and the subunit hepatitis B vaccine. So these vaccines are so similar to the natural infection that they can help prevent and create strong and long lasting response. So coming to this picture, this shows how the growing number of unvaccinated individuals can affect and how easily the disease can be spread within a particular community. So here, when too many people choose not to vaccinate, it can damage the herd community, which refers to the protection that can occur when enough number of people in a community are vaccinated against a disease. So this means that even the handful number of people who are not vaccinated are protected since the disease are well contained. So if the too many people in a given community are not vaccinated, then the herd community will completely disappear as the virus will spread more freely. So this happens when no one is immunized. Now coming to the next step, which is the passive immunity. So this is the resistance that is transmitted passively to a recipient in a ready-made form. So it is the resistance induced in a recipient by transfer of antibodies preformed against infective agent in another host. So here the recipient's immune system plays no active role and the protective mechanism come into force immediately after the transfer of antibodies. So passive immunity is conferred from outside of the body, so it does not require the exposure to an infectious agent or an antigen. And also the passive immunity is not long lasting like the active immunity. It can last only for a few days, weeks or months. Here there is no antigenic stimulus. Instead, preformed antibodies are administered. And also there is no negative phase in passive immunity, whereas in active immunity there was a negative phase. The immunity is short lasting only till the passively transmitted antibodies are metabolized and eliminated. And here, no secondary type of response occurs in passive immunity. As we discussed, passive immunity is less effective than that of the active immunization. The main advantage of passive immunization is that it can act immediately and therefore can be employed when instant immunity is desired. So, here also the passive immunity can be obtained either naturally and artificially. So, the natural passive immunity occurs during pregnancy when the antibodies can pass from the maternal blood into the fetal bloodstream. So, it is observed when IgG passes from mother to fetus during pregnancy. And also, it can be observed by passing IgA from mother to newborn during the breastfeeding. Now, coming to the artificial passive immunity is normally administered by injection. So, the immediate availability of a large number of antibodies is the main advantage of passive immunity. So, the agents used for this purpose are hyperimmune sera of animal and human origin. So, the convalescent sera and pooled human gamma globin, these are used for prophylaxis and therapy. The antibody therapy can be used as a preventive measure on exposure to pathogens in order to stop the development of an illness. So, the antibodies produced in animals are usually called as the serum therapy, and the administration of these antisera makes large number of antibodies available in the recipient host in order to neutralize the action of toxins. So this is an example for passive immunity where the equine hyperimmune serum such as anti-tetanus serum is prepared from hyperimmunized horses. So they give only temporary protection and also has certain disadvantages such as allergy and immune elimination. So here in this picture it can be seen that the tetanus antitoxin is prepared by immunizing the horses with tetanus toxin, and the blood plasma is being obtained from these immunized horses which are rich in antibodies against the tetanus toxin. So the antitoxin has a specific power of neutralizing these toxin which is prepared by the Clostridium tetani, which is the causative organism of tetanus. Human hyperimmune globin, which is free from these complications, also provides more long lasting protection. So coming to the next type of immunization, which is a combined immunization. So from the term it is clear combination. So it is a combination of both active and passive method of immunization. So here combination vaccination takes place when two or more vaccines that could be given individually and put them into a single shot. So this is all regarding the topic of immunity. If you have any doubts regarding this topic, you can pin me in the comment box. So thank you for watching this video. If you like my video, please do subscribe to my channel. Thank you.